Welcome everybody. My name is Zach Olson and I am the project manager of new initiatives here at the Iowa Center. It's Tuesday, so that means this is Small Biz Essentials. After a relaxing little break, we're back with our first one of the year today. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you haven't, I have just a couple quick notes. One, we are recording today so we can share this video on our website. And two, excuse me. Two, if you have any questions or comments, please use the chat and the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. We'll stop every once in a while to ask questions throughout the presentation, and we'll save a little extra time at the end for general Q&A as well. Okay, so in 2021, we all hopefully understand the importance of offering an online marketplace, especially after 2020. But creating an easy, intuitive experience for your customers is a lot more than just throwing some products up on your website. From refining customer experience to creating digital benefits and SEO, search engine optimization, today's online marketplace is both an art and a science. Here today to help us with all that is Andi Fagen. Andi has been assisting in brand launches and business growth since her time at Iowa State in 2009. That journey has taken her across the country, but ultimately brought her back to the Midwest, where she opened Creative DSM to continue helping small businesses launch and scale around Des Moines. She currently has successful shops running on platforms like Shopify, Squarespace, WordPress, Etsy, and Amazon, which is why she's happy to guide us through her process of earning online sales. Andi, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. So one thing maybe before we start is in the chat function, in the two, can you go ahead and click that blue button so that it says panelists and attendees? And we could go ahead and go in the chat. Since we can't rename ourselves, we could go ahead and introduce ourselves and our business to the others participating in here so that we have a little network going on. Because one of the most important things about digital benefits is making sure that you have a network that's supporting you. And that includes real people, not just bots liking you or anything like that. So I really encourage you guys to talk to each other and put where you're from and your name in there. So, oh, and Shar is on here too. Hi, Shar. And Chris, hi. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. So Zach, real quick. But before that, I guess I can go ahead and start and say, first of all, I wanted to thank the Iowa Center for offering online education for business owners looking to improve their workflows. You have a really great resource for the betterment of Iowa, and that's definitely something that I can get behind. And I highly encourage you guys to check out their programming. I've taken some really great finance programs and webinars through the Iowa Center. And I also had some accounting advice as well, one-on-one coaching, which is, really awesome. So I highly suggest you guys check out what is going on and look at their capabilities. So here we go. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So, and now I lost my mouse again. Okay. So my name is Andi Fagen, as he said, and I am the founder and creative director of Creative DSM, which actually stands for Digital and Social Marketing, and not Des Moines, but is a fun play on our hometown. So that's a little bit about me. As a native of Urbandale, I graduated from Iowa State in 2009, went out to Los Angeles. Right after graduation, I spent 4 years out there doing design and digital marketing for a startup fashion brand, and moved to the other coast doing digital marketing in Miami. So after the birth of our 3-year-old, now 3.5-year-old, we decided that it was time to come back to Iowa, which is when Creative DSM started working with local small businesses here in Iowa to get them noticed online. So there are tons of cool brick and mortar and there we go, now I have my mouse again. tons of cool brick and mortar and companies grounded here in Des Moines that are now looking to convert to online sales. And that's a really big part of, 2020 and the theme of it. So as he said, it's a lot more than just putting your product up on the website and hoping that people come. My specialty is really getting people in the door of the marketplace. So that includes strategies like search engine optimization and building a network of people that are really engaged in your product, and making sure that you define who not only your ideal client is, but who your actual target market is. So let's see, now that I have my handy dandy mouse. So a little bit about Creative DSM is that our goal isn't necessarily to be a success ourselves, but rather to be a value to our clients. So we are an analytics-driven local business that's really made to help our network thrive. So one way that I do that is with working with small businesses, having them work with each other, because the more that we can keep our, our pipelines here locally strong, the better that Des Moines will be, and the more diversity that we'll have to shop through, and the more economic success that we'll have. So that's one of the really big driving factors of Creative DSM, and what I've noticed really makes a difference when it comes to marketing your business in general. So I have a little agenda here. So what we're going to do is we're going to review some jargon definitions, what products or services your business can take advantage of online, what the journey of conversion means, how to market your e-commerce shop, and then we'll open up some time for questions. So another thing that could be cool if you guys drop into the chat, so that at the end I can look through and talk about what platforms you're on. As I said before, I have shops on Etsy, Squarespace, Amazon, and WordPress. So if you want to go ahead and drop in there, oh, Shopify as well, great. So if you want to drop in there, we can see if there's something that we should really focus on at the end, or any questions that you have with that. So cool. Let's move on to the definitions. So here are some definitions of staples of having an online marketplace. So the first one is my focus of interest, which is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, or SEO. So that's just basically how you get noticed on search engines like Yahoo, Bing, and Google. So it's different strategies that you can use to get noticed organically online rather than paid search. Another one is keyword optimization, which is the process of defining search terms that your business wants to rank for on these search engines. So for instance, you can go ahead and make different search terms for people in different processes. So maybe what is digital marketing would be my first step that leads to a landing page that's more about education. Maybe another search term that I want to rank for is marketing agency in Des Moines. And I'll know that that one has a little more intent to it, and I'll want to direct it more into a unique selling proposition versus the competition. And then another one is hire a digital marketer, right? I know that that one's a red hot lead, and I want to go ahead and lead them to a contact page that they're going to be able to get to me right away. So keyword optimization is defining these keywords that you want to rank for, and then ranking them in your priority and where they are along the journey. So then you want to use these terms throughout the website, copy, ads, and even the alt data in the back end of your website. So make sure that when you have a page focused on certain key terms to rank for behind where they are in the journey. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, we're gonna dig into journey, like I said, a little bit later, but go ahead and drop into the chat or anything like that. Another jargon that I like to talk about is backlink. Backlink structuring is the process of gaining incoming links from another source. So in other words, it's getting other websites to link to your own. So you can think of this like a root system. The deeper the links go, the better the quality. So a great example of a quality backlink is a Chamber of Commerce, as they already have many backlinks pointing to their site. So gaining a link from them will improve your SEO over time. So there's a lot of SEO strategies behind joining these groups, joining online directories, and making sure that you have more links pointing to your site so that there is more visibility, not only through the search engines, but if the search engines start to see that you have more links to your site, they're going to rank you higher for your search terms. So backlinks are a strategy that are often overlooked. And that's why I really urge people to look through those memberships that you have and make sure that you're asking for the backlink behind that, making sure that you're filling out your profile and asking shouldering industries to give you backlinks. So shoulder industries are another term that I like to talk about. It's a lot of people like to say strategic partnerships, but basically it's any business that shares your ideal client. So it's not necessarily the competition, but it is a partnership. So a great example is the wedding industry, right? There are florists, bakers, dress shop, tux rentals, photographers. All of those people are trying to reach the same clientele. And by building partnerships with these people, you're not only doing the face-to-face communication by saying like, hey, I'm a photographer, you're an event venue, maybe brides are coming to you first, but I would love to be on your preferred vendor list. And that's one way of networking face-to-face. But the other cool part about that is asking for a backlink. A lot of these businesses have, strategic partnerships or, vendors we love to work with pages, and to get those backlinks pointed to your site that are relevant to what you want to rank for are a really great way to get your online business noticed, especially for e-commerce. So moving on from definitions is how e-commerce can help your business. So e-commerce strategies. A lot of people assume that that means a brand that sells online, but there are many ways to adapt your current business to e-commerce and provide value to your customers online. So first is the obvious one, which is an online shop. This allows your business to sell beyond your physical footprint, or even allows the customers the opportunity to go back and purchase online after the consideration phase. So one of my favorite platforms, if you're just looking for an online shop, is Shopify. There's a reason why they are a master at e-commerce, and that's because they have a lot of developers on their side providing plugins that you can simplify your workflow when you upload to Shopify. So an online shop is obviously a really great idea for e-commerce, but a second type could be a pre-order. So since COVID-19 has come to light, businesses are focusing more on creating an efficient and fast process for in-person transactions. So this allows for better planning of staffing, inventory, and cash flow. So think of event tickets service appointments. Maybe it's simply that they are physically buying something, but they are buying it from a local store and just wanting to stop for curbside pickup. So pre-orders are a really great way to build an e-commerce pipeline to your business. And then finally, another example is a payment portal. So paper bills can be expensive when you add up, the envelopes, actual time spent creating, and the postage. So payment portals are great for any type of events or any services that you're providing. Maybe you're mowing lawns, sending them back to your website to actually do a payment is not only an efficient way for you to automate your services, but also lets you do this no contact providing of a service. So I would say that that's probably the most overlooked benefit of e-commerce, is also providing some type of client login or payment portal for your business to thrive online. So let's move on to the journey of conversion. So this is how they actually find you, okay? So first of all, there is the attention phase. Maybe you are sponsoring an event. Maybe you have a podcast. Maybe you are a visitor on a podcast. Or maybe even through your current digital marketing efforts of social media and SEO. So this is where they are just becoming aware of the problem that you're solving, and where you really want to grab people with certain search terms like how do I, where can I find the best Chinese food in Des Moines, right? An example of the social media attention grabbers can be more like contests or commenting on a shouldering industry. So one thing that I like to do is I like to have my e-commerce brand pages follow other shouldering brand pages so that I can comment on it, I can like it, I can talk back and forth and really create a network. So Instagram is a really great tool for this as well. And going ahead and getting noticed from the people that are already on the platforms that are very engaging when it comes to e-commerce. So the next phase is consideration. And this is how your client becomes aware that there's a fix for their pain point. This is where something like a customer avatar comes in handy, and how you are going to space yourself from your competition. So key points to use in this phase is, again, social media is great during this phase to make sure that you have an ad talking about one benefit to the purchaser that maybe your competition doesn't have. So this is a great way to start spacing yourself from the competition during the consideration phase. Another one is a lead magnet. So maybe you have a FAQ for the product that you are you're providing online. Maybe it's not a well-known type of service or type of solution, and doing a lead magnet of an FAQ or 10 ways to improve your X is a great way to capture their email to make sure that you can remarket them, and to also apply your online business during the consideration phase. So the next point of that phase is pay-per-click. So pay-per-click is a way that you can make sure that you monetize on the leads coming into your business. So this is where you're going to bid on those keywords that we were talking about earlier, and prioritize how much you're spending on each phase of this conversion journey. My screen went smaller. Okay,
Yep.
sorry. Technical difficulties. Okay. Yeah, so pay-per-click is something that is really fun to do, especially when you can provide ads for different phases of this conversion journey, where maybe you want to bid much less when they're just in the intention phase or the consideration, but when it comes to the purchase phase, maybe that's where you want to load more dollars into those type of ads. So that's where you're focusing on different keyword strategies and different parts of the conversion journey. So the next phase is obviously purchase, right? You want to make sure that you have a customer experience that is a positive customer experience, right? So one thing that I have seen fail many times is you build this beautiful online marketplace, but you forget to make a purchase yourself before, because there are lots of different plugins and widgets and whatnot that automate the process for you that you forget to look through. So for instance, Squarespace will go ahead and send a follow-up email after you made a purchase saying, hey, your order has been shipped. But maybe your product is actually something that isn't going to be shipped. It's going to be picked up in person from your store. And you're actually one of those like online portal e-commerce models. So you want to make sure that you make the purchase yourself and check through this experience and make sure that it's seamless. Make sure that there are directions for how long it takes for you to pack the order, the tracking, and giving them a really great customer experience. So that also reflects on your product pages, making sure that you're talking about the process there. Maybe if you have a really long lead time, you want to go ahead and put that in your product description saying for urgent orders, make sure that you contact us directly before. So really the theme of this is making sure that you're making a positive experience as people are purchasing from you. The next part is for the service afterwards, right? You want to make sure that you follow up, ask how you did, ask how they're using it. Maybe you want to send them an automated email that comes out a week later that says, 10 ways to use the widget you just bought, and talk about that. If those open rates do well, then you maybe want to create another one 2 weeks later after that saying, 10 ways to do this with your friends. So it's kind of building a service of follow-up that again leads back to the customer experience being positive, because hopefully after that, you can go ahead and ask for some type of social media review, any type of Google review, or mention to their network. So a really important part about online purchases is reviews. You want these reviews on social media, on the actual pages that you have, and Google My Business is a very important, underrated element of businesses. You're going to want to make sure that you're claiming your profile and responding to reviews, especially if they're negative. Okay. If you get negative reviews on your online marketplace, one of the most important things to do is to address the issue, take it offline. Don't take blame, but make sure that you're listening to their concern and telling them that you're listening to their concern. So there are plenty of ways to flip a negative review into a positive. I'm sure that you'll notice that there are certain platforms that hide negative reviews and really only promote the positive ones. So I beg of you that if you do have a negative review, to keep it up there, because it actually shows that real people are reviewing you, and it allows people in the consideration phase to see how you respond to issues that come up, because nobody's business is perfect. And there's no way that everybody is going to get 5 stars on every single product that you put out. But if you do your best to show your service through online responses, then it's going to help your consideration phase of your online customer journey. So the next part after that is following up again. And this could either be the actual ask for the review, or asking for them to share with their personal network, because reviews aren't just on your brand page or your Google page or your actual website. Reviews are also people that are loyal to you posting on their personal networks, because that is one of the strongest referrals that you can have, is to have actual micro influencers talking about your products, talking about how much they love them, and influencing their network to come. Are there online marketplaces similar to Etsy and Shopify, but focusing on services, especially B2B services? Focusing on, I'm not sure that I would say focusing on, but Squarespace is a really great way that I have done some B2B services for online marketplaces. What is your business? Let's see here. Oh, no business name yet. Okay. Yeah, so there are plenty of platforms to choose from when you're choosing your online business. Etsy is a really great way to start, especially if you are hand making items, and they have really expanded their platform to also allow you to make websites now, and to plug in really seamlessly to Facebook and Instagram. I think they also have Pinterest plugins. Another question that I just had, are newsletters still effective? Okay, so effective is kind of a broad term, right? It depends on your overall goals. If you're looking for a newsletter to produce sales right away, I would say that there might be some better avenues than newsletters, such as PPC. If you're looking for any type of immediate response to it, you're going to want to be bidding on keywords. But if you have a network of a really great newsletter list, then that's a great way to get brand recognition and to educate your customers. So education is part of the consideration phase, where you are talking about how you're different, what you're going to do, and don't necessarily talk about the features of your business, but talk about the benefits of your business. So I would say that newsletters are really effective when it comes to consideration, when it comes to brand awareness, and when it comes to keeping relevant within your network so that they remember to come back to you. So one thing with newsletters is they have most likely already engaged with you, right? If you have their email address, you either got that through a lead magnet, you got that through a past purchase, but they are at least semi-warm that they already know about you. So it's a great way then to talk about these benefits and talk about the benefits to them, and start building a little bit more brand awareness and brand trust. So let me know if that kind of answered your question. Can these same processes be applied to services and courses? I have an online course and do online speaking engagements, no physical products. Yes, absolutely. So for the services, for the online course, right? Okay. So courses, there are some great ones like Teachable, and those ones plug in, I think, best through WordPress. Oh, Thinkific. Okay, I haven't, or Thinkific. I haven't used that one. But yes, all of these customer journey elements can be used. Okay, all of these elements can be used for services or through products. So I tried to keep this relatively broad so that we could talk through any type of online business that you have and any type of e-commerce that you're doing. So all of these are still really great ways to get you noticed through this. So one thing that I would recommend for these online courses is maybe networking to do some speaking engagements and talk about your expertise. And then you can use that as a video moving forward to do some type of pay-per-click or really just solidifying yourself as an expert during the consideration phase. You could put that into some email newsletter marketing and talk about how many people that you have helped in the past and what your main emphases are. So you use Thinkific. What platform do you use for a website, or do you just use Thinkific for your clients to log into? Squarespace. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Squarespace is awesome when it comes to really building out an image heavy website that is easy for you to maintain yourself. So I think that that's really a great way to do it. In Squarespace, I will say one of their downfalls versus WordPress is that you don't have the Yoast SEO plugin. On WordPress, there's basically, I like to call it a video game called Yoast SEO, and it basically turns your descriptions green from red. So it's like you are SEO focused. You can type in the keyword that you want to focus into and do that. But there are different ways to do that on Squarespace by basically organizing your keywords and then focusing each page into a certain one. You're going to want to make sure that you are updating your meta descriptions to all be different. Meta descriptions cannot be the same on any two pages. So that is one downfall that I find in Squarespace, is it doesn't always alert you of that. So make sure that you're looking into that, and then building out your keyword list. I will say I do have one download on my website that can help you with these keywords, which is this Seo Keyword Organization. It is a Excel file that you can download, and it kind of prompts you through the questions that you want to ask in order to have ideal keywords. And I will go ahead and make a free download code here. And I will send that to the iOS Center after this to send out to all of you guys. I'll probably do iOS Center 2021 as the download code for this, so that you can purchase this for free and check through your keyword optimization for your Squarespace website. Okay, awesome. Another thing that I would recommend is having a content calendar. I do not have the 2021 one up yet, but I will have that by next week, and that will be free on my website as well. So again, that's creativedsm.com. Go to downloads. I have a few different resources on here that you can use in order to really start focusing on your online marketing and the things that you want to do for that. It's also worth a mention that I do have a blog on here of different things that you can research. How to write an SEO blog post is one of my favorite ones that I like to tell people to check into. This is how you are really going to leverage your keywords within your website. It's not just your product descriptions, but you're also going to want to make sure that you do a blog on your website so that you are, is this website on WordPress? No, this one is a Squarespace one. You're going to want to make sure that you're always updating content on your website. This signals Google that you are invested in your website and it's something that you want them to promote. So it's very important to make sure that you are constantly updating your website with content, whether that's through the blog, adding more products in, updating your homepage, just making sure that you are looking through your customer journey. Another point of interest is making sure that you are plugging in Google Analytics. It is free. And nowadays there's really no coding to it even. You should be able just to seamlessly plug it into your WordPress, your Squarespace, definitely your Shopify. Etsy, I'm not sure about their new website platform, how it can plug in, but my main message here is to make sure that you are looking at your Google Analytics and seeing if there is a page on your site that people are dropping off of. Maybe there's a page on your site that people are entering your site through. So it's something that you know that you should talk about more on your marketing. So I really like to drive home that what you want to talk about is what people actually care about. So you're going to want to make sure that you're watching your analytics. What is e-commerce marketing? It is this keyword research, then keyword planning, checking through your analytics, content creation, and backlinks. So a strong website incorporates SEO strategies that create effortless inbound marketing to your website through data-filled analytics, creative social media management, keyword-rich on-site SEO, and pay-per-click optimization. So these are the different platforms that I really suggest that any e-commerce brand is engaged in. Now I'm looking through and making sure that there's nothing that I would say. Yeah, all of these are really strong for any type of e-commerce business, including any type of services, B2B. This is how you are going to get your e-commerce business noticed online, is making sure that you are engaged with a network. You are showing that you are a local business or a small business owner through LinkedIn. Through Instagram, make sure that you're making really vivid images that talk about what your benefits are and interacting with your community on there. Make sure that you are DMing, make sure that you are commenting, make sure that you're liking. Do not just make a post that automatically posts to LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, because all of these platforms are different. So I would say that you could do that in a way of saving time, but Instagram is a much different animal, something that you should really be on and making sure that you're commenting and interacting. Otherwise, you're just not going to show up on there. YouTube, this one is a great platform to do, especially if you're one of those comfortable presenters. So speaking back to the online speaking, if there's any way that you can do some short commercials into what you do, any type of tips that you have, record those as mini separate YouTube videos. You know that Google owns YouTube, so obviously they really want you to create on their platform, and they are going to, it's going to benefit your business by interacting on that platform and creating content on there. So it's not enough though, just to upload a video. You want to make sure that you are also optimizing the title tags to make sure it is going back to your keyword planning. You're going to want to make sure that you put links in there. So in the actual description, talk about what you're going to talk about, but make sure that you lead them back to your website, because that is more backlinks to your website, and that is more potential viewers that are going to click onto your website. So that's one thing that's overlooked with YouTube. Also, if you are a local business, YouTube has an option to put where the video was recorded and when it was. So you're going to want to optimize for your local business if you have that. So YouTube is a really easy, user-friendly platform to use, especially if you are one of those people that are more comfortable speaking. I am more of a writer than a speaker. I like to get all of my thoughts in outline form and put it there. So that's where I really lean on email and blogging. So newsletters, of course, is a great way, but there are also ways to, after the lead magnet, set up automations so that you can warm up the leads slowly and then ask for the buy. Don't just dive in and say, hey, here's the link to my product. Make sure you talk about the journey along with it, right? You want to talk about what problem you're solving, what benefits you're giving, how you're different. And then you talk about, maybe then you start dangling a promotion that's coming up, or why they want to buy right now, and create some type of urgency. Then you make your ask. Blogging is a really great way to show your expertise. Hence me showing you guys my blog, right? It's a way to show that you are an authority in the industry and giving them some type of tips. Another great way, great effect of blogging that I like to use is watching my Google Analytics to see what blogs people are reading. Because if I notice that one subject is really engaging, then I go ahead and I make a child version of that blog that talks about something more in depth about it. And it's also a way that I can see that it's something that I need to talk about more on social media, or I need to put more into my email, or even in my one-to-one pitches. So blogging is my favorite way because it is really easy to track the results of. And then also pay-per-click ads. So pay-per-click ads are a great way to get noticed online, but they are not for everyone. And they are definitely not for people who just want to set it and forget it. That is something that you need to manage and watch your analytics with it, watch your spend, and make sure that you are optimizing into the keywords that you actually want to rank for. So PPC ads are a really great way to get noticed online, but my favorite way is organic. I actually don't have any paid ads running. I haven't since, I don't even know. I don't think I did any in 2020. So I really focus on talking about, and that's for my personal business. Obviously, I have clients that do pay-per-click ads, but it's a great way to jumpstart your organic growth of your website. So I will say that there is a place for it. Going back to the YouTube comment, you can promote a YouTube video through Google Ads so that it shows up during people that are searching on certain channels that you think are relevant, or certain keyword searches that you think are relevant. So PPC ads are a really great way to jumpstart your online marketing. And that is also, PPC encompasses, Google ads, it is Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Instagram, back to YouTube, any type of purchases for website banners on chambers of commerce, stuff like that. A lot of those have different pay-per-click options. So make sure that you're looking around and seeing where your ideal customer is and investing into that platform. So this is different key strategy points of e-commerce. Obviously, digital marketing, which is SEO strategies. Your website design, that is obviously a strategy of e-commerce, but more than just website design, it has to have a flow and it has to have a customer journey. Make sure that you have a backlink structure within there. So if they are on the consideration page, that you know that you can lead them to the next step by having a button to see how we're different, or compare products here, right? Making sure that you have a good flow of your web design. Pay-per-click, just talked about how it's a really great way to jumpstart your e-commerce. And then content marketing, that is your blogging, your social media, any type of newsletters, but making sure that you are adding content that is relevant to your business. This is just the marketing team. It is me and Jenna. We actually had an interview today for one more, so we'll see how that goes. And here is just my contact information. So if you need any assistance in setting up a platform or any type of coaching, I'm happy to do some one-on-ones with this. I'm happy to dig more into the platforms that you're in. One of the hard things with doing these presentations is I'm not quite sure which ones to dive into a little bit more, which ones you have questions about or which ones you're considering. But I do have definite opinions on what is best for certain types of businesses. So I'm happy to take any of those questions, or like I said, do some one-on-ones. I can open it up for questions in the last 10 minutes. Maybe I'll look through the different platforms that everybody said. Oh, Pinterest. Pinterest is a really great platform for e-commerce. It's actually one of the highest converting platforms when it comes to social media. So especially if you are an image heavy business, any type of fashion or beauty service or home decor, anything like that, Pinterest is a gold mine for you. And there are plenty of ways to automate more pins to Pinterest. Tailwind is one of my favorite platforms to use for Pinterest. It can also plug into Instagram. But again, when you are just using a platform to post to Instagram, you're going to want to make sure that you also log in as a person to Instagram to comment on there, because it's not going to show anything if you're not interactive on there. I haven't done a lot of Wix, but I have seen that they have really upped their game in SEO lately, that you can turn on something that doesn't let you publish a page unless it's SEO, I believe. So that's pretty cool.
I've got a quick question for you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Can you talk about payment options a little bit? What you'd suggest, what works best with online platforms?
Yeah. So it depends on what platform you're using, obviously. For instance, if you have Squarespace, you're going to want to make sure that you have Stripe, because then that allows people to check out actually on your website rather than take them to a new one. So you can plug in PayPal to Squarespace, but a lot of people will find some difficulty with actually filling in their information when it comes to that. So I would definitely say to make sure that you're doing Stripe if you're on Squarespace. PayPal is a really great source for going in, and they allow you to create buttons for products for free. When I say free, I mean that they are going to take a transaction fee that comes along with it, but they will give you an HTML code that you can put onto your website so that there's a buy here button. So that's a great one. If you are doing a significant amount of business online, I would highly recommend that you talk to a payment solution specialist, because PayPal and Square and Stripe, those are not going to be competitive compared to, I'm thinking US Bank Evalon. Rhett is a really great resource to talk to. He can help you plug into your website so that you can pay online through your website and you're not paying the PayPal fees. So that is one great one. I've heard some good things. That's who you go through, Chris? You go through Rhett? That's awesome. And then what else? I see Shar said Venmo. I mean, Venmo is good because they don't take any type of fees, but it's a little bit hard for online marketplaces to do. It's more of like a person-to-person transaction, in my opinion. But yeah, and Venmo isn't as sophisticated as a PayPal or something like that, where you have a portal on the back end that you can run reports and stuff like that. So Venmo is great as long as it's plugged into just your business checking, and you go in and you're marking those transactions as they come in. So making sure that you have a good bookkeeper is probably another big point of e-commerce that I am not an expert part on, but highly recommended. Which I should mention, taxes, you're going to want to talk to a tax professional when it comes to sales tax and stuff like that. I know, for instance, selling on Amazon, I have to upload my sales tax certificate to there. And make sure that I'm paying quarterly on that. So you're going to want to make sure that you talk to a tax professional and make sure that you are compliant with all of this, because there can be some really bad mistakes when it comes to that. So I am by no means an expert on that, so don't ask me that, but I'm sure the Iowa Center could connect you with somebody there.
And how's this for a transition? Next week's Small Business Essentials is going to be building a better small business banking relationship. So that these are all questions you can bring next week with Lisa Mass from Bankers Trust. And the week after that, we are going to be talking about taxes in the IRS.
There you go. Awesome.
Well, usually at the end of these, I have several questions put together from our staff and from myself, but this was just fantastic information, and you literally answered all of them within your presentation. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We had such great energy and engagement from the group today. That's the most questions that we've had throughout a session in quite some time. So that's great. I love it. Let's make that a 2021 thing. Thank you, Andi, so much for being here today. And thank you for the promo code that you gave everyone. That was so generous.
Yeah, no problem. I did see somebody added, what's the best way to add testimonials to your site? Yeah, testimonials are great. Also, they are usually like keyword rich. So I would definitely recommend doing that. I usually have one page for testimonials. But then there are plenty of plugins that you can put where it's like a scrolling testimonial. But I will say that I wouldn't waste testimonials. I wouldn't waste people's time giving you testimonials on your website, as in don't ask them to review products on your website, ask them to review it on Google, because that's where you're gonna get the most ground for it. And then you can either plug that into a customer reviews page by you copying and pasting, or you can ask them if it was a really great review, then, hey, I really appreciated this review. Is there any way that you could do it on this product page as well? So I would say always drive them to Google reviews and then go ahead and do the rest. So I don't know if that necessarily answered your question, but that's like my best view of Google reviews. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Well, again, Andi, thank you so much for being here. I know that you've offered to talk to people one-on-one, and we're always here as well. Whatever additional questions everybody has, If you want to watch the video again, it will be up on our website pretty soon. We also have a bunch of brand new education platforms rolling out in 2021. It's going to be a big year for us. So everybody, please keep checking back the classes and events page on our website to see what is coming up soon. If we don't have any more questions from everybody, again, thank you so much for joining us today, for asking your wonderful questions. And thank you, Andi, for your time and your expertise. This has been great.
Awesome. Great. Well, Happy New Year.
Everybody have a great day.
All
Thanks.
right. Bye.